Resident Evil, a name you all surely know, a franchise rooted in horror, dread, and originating from a dark, looming mansion in the middle of the forest. And some very bad voice acting. We can throw that in there too for good measure.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
So, personally, I have been a Resident Evil fan for, well, probably since I was about like 9 years old. I was obsessed with the lore, like the creatures, everything, especially the tyrants. This guy was like, oh, this guy was the dude. In fact, my very first YouTube, one of my very first YouTube names for this channel was Nemesis Reviews. What did I review? Absolutely nothing. I was like maybe 10 or 11. The point is, I was utterly enthralled with this franchise, and even the, yes, even the movies. I ate that shit up when I was younger. They are so bad. And no, I'm not ashamed to admit that I liked them so much. I would be now, but, and over the decade, I've been becoming a bigger fan of this franchise. I didn't actually start playing them till about Resident Evil 2 remake though. Yeah, call me LARP, whatever, all you want. But I was like 10 when Resident Evil 7 came out. My ass was not playing that shit. Watch Markiplier play though, so counts for something. But over the past few weeks, I've taken my dive into playing the older releases, starting with the topic of today's video. Resident Evil, the HD remaster, to be specific. Oh, dude, this game was so peak. I'm so excited to talk about it. Now, before we get started, I want to apologize if this video is a bit rusty. I have not edited a video like this in a moment, and I'm using a new editing software, and you know, I'm trying to make things a little more entertaining. So either it turns out great and I get like another 10,000 view video, or it turns out like, for the layout of the video, I'm going to give a very brief story synopsis at the very start, and that'll set the stage a little bit. And then I'll walk through a little bit of my experience with the playthrough and interject with specific aspects of the game. And then at the end, I'll give an overview and go a little bit deeper on a couple things and give it a rating. So getting into this very brief story synopsis, I just want to let you guys know that there are going to be spoilers throughout the video. You know, this game is old as hell, so, you know, you guys probably already know it. You guys probably already know the story of Resident Evil, but, you know, the year is 1998, and a special ops team called STARS is sent to the Spencer Mansion on the outskirts of Raccoon City. They're sent to investigate some strange occurrences. There have been murders in the woods, hikers gone missing. Said mansion was a base of operations for the Umbrella Corporation to conduct secret Said mansion was a base of operations for the Umbrella Corporation to conduct secret experiments with various viruses and biological things. What the fuck? And their best gift to the world was the T-virus, yeah! Which is broken containment. And everybody there's turning into, well, you know. Now your character, I mean, we're all probably a little familiar with the story, or your character doesn't know shit, and you gotta get to the bottom of it. And along the way, you discover things about the mansion, experience some questionable betrayals, and get to the bottom, literally, of what is going on here. So I went into this game almost completely blind when it comes to the actual game itself. You know, I knew the story, and after choosing Jill as my character of choice for the campaign, no, I didn't replay as Crisp, call me a fake fan, I entered the mansion after the dog chase outside and got my first dose of Barry, who I will be discussing a lot of in this video, and the other crew. For some reason, we think it's a great idea to split up. Now, considering I end up putting all the fucking work in this game, what are you guys doing? You know? Barry, fuck you. And then I began to explore the mansion, and I was immediately hit with, this game packs atmosphere by the truckload. The environments, lighting, even the odd camera, which is a bit weird at first, and it can be a pain in the ass. We'll get onto that later. But when you get used to it, it's freaking awesome. All these things really do make the mansion very, very creepy. I loved it. I was eating up how this felt throughout the entire game, and the atmosphere isn't just in the mansion itself. From the main room to the courtyard to the late game secret laboratory, it's just peak. It's so good. It's fucking creepy, man. There were times I was kind of freaked out to go around the corner in this game, and there were other times I soiled myself for doing so. I shit my pants. That's what I'm saying. I shit myself. This can largely be accredited to the game's lighting, which I was incredibly impressed by. The way this game is lit, all of the specific areas and everything are very enhanced by the lighting of this game. There's specific hallways in the mansion that just seem much more put together, and then once you get into some of the darker bits, it just works with how the lighting is, you know? You walk into the main corridor room and it's all pretty and stuff, and then you just dig a little deeper and you're like, fuck, this is scary as shit. And of course, another thing that adds to the atmosphere is the camera. Once again, these older games have somewhat of a mixed reaction when it comes to the camera. I think a lot of people saw it in like the 2010s and stuff like that, you know, when Resident Evil 2 came out and some of those other games like Resident Evil 4. Pretty much from Resident Evil 4 onwards, I think people saw it as kind of archaic. But I think that sentiment is kind of gone now, thankfully. And again, but like, to go back on that a little bit, it can be a pain in the ass at some specific moments. Like right here, when this Crimson Head decided to give me a tooth-filled rim job. Man, takes me back to middle school, man. But other than those little tiny moments, this camera is great. And it does really make you feel trapped, and it gives you a different feeling than some of even the new RE games. Rounding a corner is always a mystery, listening painstakingly to the audio, knowing something is there, but you don't know where or how close to the corner, so you gotta look. And I also just kind of enjoyed the variation when it came to looking at this game and how many of the different camera angles there are. Something you don't really see too often. Back to the camera at hand, it really is one of the things that makes this game. Sure, I do think if they made this game again in the style of the new RE remakes, would it be just as effective and scary? Sure, yeah, I do think that the new camera perspective from Resident Evil 2 or, you know, the remakes and stuff like that would be just as scary. But I do think this camera has one of the most distinct and cinematic cameras of any game I've played in a very, very long time. Another thing that is fantastic in this game, and like every other Capcom game, they seriously have an art with what I'm about to say. This game's environment tells a story. There are so many little details and clutter and just little objects to make us either a sprawling mansion, looks like it's been lived in by some rich bioterrorists, to a candlelit shrine inhabited by a little girl that was experimented on and then wears her mom's face, I think. What the fuck? And so back to the game, I continued on throughout the mansion, found my first zombie. Yeah, I don't know if this cutscene was cut off or something, but yeah, it just cuts off like that. So anyway, after that, I made my way back to Barry, and oh boy, did I discover the dialogue in this game. It's something. I know it's kind of a thing with these games for them to talk cheesy and come off a little goofy sometimes, but ooh, this game has got some bad dialogue, man. At some parts, it is rough. It comes off very, like, unserious at times. Like, not to the point where I hated it, but it's just freaking goofy, man. For example, there are multiple times that Jill is in, like, a critical life or death situation, and she just drops. It's not even like an exaggerated, like, Leon Kennedy, like, time to roundhouse these zombies with my Leon foot type thing. It's like, oh my God. And it's like the flattest, most content I've ever heard with somebody seeing a rotting corpse walking at them. It's kind of funny. And don't get me started on Captain Obvious here. Barry, who loves to point out the fucking most obvious shit on the fucking planet, man. Oh my God. But again, the dialogue does have its charm, and it's not all bad. It's something that could be worked on if they ever remake this game again, but still not the worst thing. But on the other hand, it doesn't really lend itself well to the narrative, like at all. Like Barry, yeah, bro, we know. I know. You don't gotta. And after that, you're sent on your way to investigate more of the mansion. And I really mean this when I say you aren't really given shit. And you know, I really appreciated that. As I played the game, it really made me appreciate This game has a really, really awesome layout. Despite the mansion not being the biggest thing in the world, it's pretty big, like, it's pretty damn big, but it's not the biggest thing. It's really not, it's not the biggest. That's what Melania tells me. But due to the majority of the house being locked up and inaccessible till you find a specific key, shortcut, or a new item to unlock a puzzle from 3 hours ago, yeah, now that's something we'll talk about later too. All of this made me think of another game that I've sunk countless hours into. It's this little game from 2011. Came out in the fall. It's called Dark Souls. I don't know if you've heard of it. One of my favorite games of all time. Now, Dark Souls does the whole Metroidvania thing on a big-ass scale for that first half of the game, and it is masterpiece. Like, I've seen multiple video essays just talking about this, and it's just something to behold, if that makes sense. So when it comes to interconnected level design, Dark Souls is the cream of the crop.
The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better.
But this game did give me the same feeling as Dark Souls when I went, oh, that's how this connects, or oh shit, finally. I couldn't believe how just every area in this game, mostly, all connected together to make one really big, enjoyable to traverse. Oh, it's so enjoyable to traverse and just walk through this mansion. I loved it so much. It's so great to traverse. Okay, so we're gonna get on to my biggest gripe with the game. These door loading screens get to be miserable, and I can't really describe like how I felt, because I really liked the game and I really liked the layout, but fuck. Every time I forgot something and I was like, oh, I have to go back 7 rooms. I was like that, you know, Lex Luthor when he's like, it sucks. As far as I know, these screens are about 5 to second one this fucking video. God damn it. As far as I know, these screens are about 5 to 7 seconds each. And with a few, I felt like they were even longer. And it wouldn't bother me so much. Again, it wouldn't bother me so much because they are kind of cool. If it was for going into like a new area, like the courtyard or something, or maybe every time you unlocked a door, you know, for the first time you have to get the loading screen. But it's every fucking room. And sometimes you have to, it's like back-to-back fucking doors. And let me tell you something, man. There's a lot of fucking doors in this game, man. And with a lot of doors, and that's not even taken into account when you have to backtrack or backtrack your fucking backtrack. Just let me break this down a little more. Say you run into a puzzle. You gotta place an item. You by chance forget the second item that you need. Well, it's time to run back to the safe room, which has 6 doors in between. Now we're just putting a number on there. Now this takes a minute trip into a 1.5-minute trip. Oh wait, and then there's the trip back. So there's another full fucking minute of just loading screens tacked onto your trip. And this gets old fast. Oh, forget some bullets and you're on the other side of the mansion? Fuck you. Here's a 2 extra minute trip. Oh, you died here? Here's a stack of creaking doors for you to get fucked by. You get the point. I really don't like these doors. And from what I've read, there's the loading screens in the original game, just from what I've heard, are faster. Why? Okay. Now, I know I've been harping on that, and I'm sorry, but it sucks about as much as a Jill sandwich. But all that to say, I don't want to take away from how the levels of the game are actually laid out. The entire map is so masterfully made, and when I popped out of the Lisa Trevor's cabin from the underground section and made my way all the way back to the mansion, I was like, oh yeah, that's some Dark Souls shit right there. And the multitude of times I unlocked a new way to shortcut this game's travel times was euphoric. So back to the game. As I kept going through the mansion and accompanying areas, digging deeper into the mystery of the Spencer Mansion, unveiling small details about the architect of the mansion and his descent into madness as he built it, and figuring out Jill and the other stars have been set up. But by who? So fucking obvious. Actually, the worst. I then went on killing zombies, unlocking new areas, and completing. Puzzles are an integral part of Resident Evil games, so I wasn't surprised to see them here at all. Some of them were pretty enjoyable to complete. Usually I could figure them out all on my own, but there were a few where I was kind of stuck, and I totally used the internet to figure them out. Looking at you, eagle turning puzzle. And then there were some that seemed so incredibly unimportant, or that they aren't stressed that they are important, that I had to backtrack from the end game all the way back to some of like the starting rooms. Definitely didn't happen. Like twice. I won't touch too much more on this because there's not much to say. For the most part, I really liked the puzzles, but there are always some bad apples. And let me tell you, there were some really wormy ass apples in some of these. Just a couple, like this one. How was I supposed to know I had to pick up this fucking bag of herbicide or whatever? Like, what? Continuing on, I slowly made progress throughout the story, and these goddamn doors didn't speed up at all. I was killing zombies, and just zombies, right? Wrong! Now, this game doesn't have the absolute mountain of nightmare-inducing horrors that the other Resident Evil games have. Yeah, no charming 8-foot-tall woman in this one. Sorry, guys. I was just as hurt as you are. But this was a good base. And you, of course, had the zombies, the zombie dogs. Fuck the zombie dogs. You've also got these bees. Okay? And snakes. Just regular snakes. Gotcha. You know, surely there's no other regular-ass animals. Oh, and just some regular-ass birds. You just have some regular birds that are really pissed off. Why are these birds so mad? Is that a fucking shark? Yeah, the animals of the Spencer Mansion have likely been listening to a little bit of King Von and Limp Bizkit. They fucked my shit up. But they've also got these fuckers in the game. These guys scared the shit out of me. Yeah, have you guys watched 28 Days Later? Well, the Crimson Heads are just those zombies. If they had knives for their hands, they had knife hands. And really scary distortion in their audio files. I did not like that. Yeah, they scared the piss out of me when I saw it running at me like that one Broly meme. No thanks. Now, you might be asking me, did he get scared of the dog jump scare? Nope. No, I did not. But I nearly shit myself at this one. Yeah, almost dropped a tyrant in my skivvies when this fucker blasted his busted green ass through the window. And then when he killed me and I went back and I fucking slimed his ass out, I was very confident. I took a step forward to have a second very unexpected visitor, and I did drop a tyrant in my pants on this one. It sucked and it was bloody. The enemies in this game are not my favorite lineup of Resident Evil monsters. I'm partial to some of the other games, especially the one with the giant woman. Because, you know.
Those little arms and legs, I pity you.
Oh, such a good gaming experience. But for a first game, this game was packing. Probably a proto-tyrant. It didn't quite have the time to grow out and whip out its nemesis yet. Bro, what the fuck? After nearly shitting myself from the hunters and the occasional Crimson Head, what they called me in high school, by the way, I began to unlock more puzzles, areas, and was completely submerged in the atmosphere of Resident Evil. I was utterly impressed. From the catacombs to the residents, this game had me hooked. And sprinkled throughout the game, but honestly, they just spam them at the end of the game. I was treated to... Take two. I was treated to some very mixed... So So this game only has like 4 bosses, and they're pretty cut and dry for the most part. Run around, don't get hit, shoot the boss. Yawn and Black Tiger, which I did not know was in this fucking game. Thank you for showing me that just randomly. We're basically just point and shoot bosses. And Neptune and Lisa Trevor really just were a really dangerous puzzle, which for a game with the bones from 1996 was not too surprising. Oh, and Plant 42. I almost forgot about that one. I just used chemical warfare on that thing. Just like dumped it right on its heart. Shriveled up. It's probably in like copious amounts of pain. I enjoyed every second of it. I think from a narrative perspective though, Lisa Trevor, whom was actually added in the remaster, was the obvious standout. The whole segment of finding her like actual house or, you know, like sleeping area with all the candles and the dolls was just so cool. I'll save my thoughts for the Tyrant a little later on. So after beating Yawn and Lisa Trevor and some of the other biological horrors of this game, I was able to finally access the laboratory, the final segment of the game, and it's essentially just one really big ass puzzle. And let me tell you, some of these little puzzles were totally looked up on the internet. Don't judge me. The password thing, you know, I thought I figured it out. Typed it in on the computer, didn't work. Went back, did that about 3 times, and I was like, yeah, I'm just fucking looking this up, man. And then there's the little MO puzzle, which, you know, I guess I didn't realize the last disc, or the first disc, I guess, was in the fucking mansion. Why? Okay. Yeah, so I definitely run around the whole complex like 8 times trying to figure that out. Behind this fucking lion. I have said the F word so many times this video. Anyway, after completing this puzzle, you find the alternative player character locked up with no way of opening the doors. For now, this will be important in like 5 minutes. And with all the puzzles completed in the lab and the elevator back on, I went and made my final descent into the complex, where I had to confront the traitor, Wesker. And arguably, you know, Barry's the traitor too, because he's, you know, we'll talk about it in a second. So I didn't jump completely into the meat and potatoes of the story until now because, you know, we're experimenting with the pacing, so cut me a break. But the story of the game so far was heavily assisted by the mysterious aspect of the game. Love the little lore tidbits you find throughout the game about the virus and the mansion and certain bosses. And the overall story as a base was pretty decent, even though it's done to high hell now. It was really good. Or it was pretty good for like, you know, the time. I think having a traitor in stars was a solid plot idea, and overall the plot is just solid. It just lacks a little bit of... There aren't many characters within RE1. There's like Jill and Chris, as far as I know, pretty much have the same personality or lack thereof. There's not a lot there. So that leaves you with Wesker, who is this cold, collected, and calm STARS agent who definitely isn't super fucking easy to spot as the traitor. And then there's Barry. Barry, who I love and who I loathe. Barry loves to point out the obvious thing in every cutscene it's in.
Something about that mansion still bothers me, but I think I'll stay here a little longer. Noise I heard brought me down here, but I didn't expect to find a place like this.
And, like, yes, Barry, I know we're in a weird situation here. You saying, wow, I didn't expect that, or wow, I came down here and I wasn't expecting this shit. Yeah, me neither, dude. The fuck? And at every meeting, you know, you doing this, Barry, it makes you look really dumb. Makes you look really dumb. I'm just gonna say. You know what else makes you look like an idiot? This guy switches up quicker than that middle school kid who was all buddy-buddy with you till you didn't spend all your spare cash on him at the gas station for the food or the energy drink he wanted. And then he's like, bro, you're not my real friends, bro. Bro, I can only drink Fiji water. Your house's water makes my stomach hurt, type thing. A real story. And you all had that kid. Don't lie. Now look, I get the reason why he does pseudo betray you and, well, just actually betray you, but I couldn't help but giggle when he switches up on you and the bad guy 3 times within an hour. It's kind of silly. The story overall is what laid the groundwork for the games to come, and even if it's not my favorite in the series, I did enjoy it a lot. And so, after confronting Wesker and after Barry switches up for the second time in the same cutscene, see what I told you? Second time in the same cutscene, like 30 seconds apart. I was faced with the Tyrant, the final boss of this game, a genetic superhuman that, died in 4 shots. Okay. This is followed up by the facility going into self-destruct mode, which unlocks all the doors in the building. See, I told you. So you go save Chris, and Barry and Chris make your way to the helipad, where we signal Brad. And as he is on his way, the Tyrant reappears. Yeah, I knew that shit wasn't the end. And this isn't too difficult. You basically have to make sure he doesn't kill Barry, and you wait till Brad drops you a fucking rocket launcher to blow the Tyrant's back out.
Good. Yes, kid. How good is that dude? Oh!
Once you dissect the Tyrant through explosive means, you get into the helicopter and leave. You leave, and credits roll. That's it. And your nightmare has ended. For like 5 minutes, because you know how many goddamn games are in this series? There's a lot. It's like 22 or something crazy like that. Anyway, the story is done. So that was Resident Evil 1, a game that has been on my list for years, and I was super happy to play through. This game and, the remaster was a really good way to experience the first game in this series. Overall, even though I had some specific gripes with the game, the loading screens and some shoddy characters, and some really flat dialogue, I would recommend this game to anybody. I think if you enjoy video games a lot, you should probably play this game. Especially if you're really into horror games. This is like the game, that started it all. It's like, one of the games. So if I was to rate Resident Evil 1 Remaster, I would give it 6.7 Jill sandwiches out of 10. Which I think is a pretty solid score. But if I was to slap it onto the Jack Attack Hero 2026 tier list of games, I'm gonna give it a high B. Now we get into the rating, and the rating segment is going to have this list here, and this kind of breaks down the criteria of how I wanted to rate this game. I'm going to try and do this, so we'll have story, graphics, art design, character, level design, gameplay, enemy variety, fun factor, and a wild card. For this game, since it's a horror game, it'll be scariness. And once again, that was Resident Evil 1 Remaster. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed this new formatting. I hope it adds a little bit more variety to the videos going forward, talking about what makes the game especially special or infamous. I think makes the video a bit more fun to watch, because I don't really just want to keep doing, oh, story good, oh, gameplay good, oh, level design bad, oh, graphics bad, oh, this good, oh, that bad. You know what I'm saying? I have a few more video ideas in the works. The art videos are going to be consistently coming out. They are fun to make. Go watch them. I think they're a good time. Please go watch them. But I think my next game for the channel has been decided by you guys, and that would be Resident Evil 3, the original. Do you have any other suggestions? Leave that in the comments. Also, these videos do take quite a while to make. So if you want to sub, or you want to like, or you want to share, it'd be pretty greatly appreciated. Let me know what you guys thought of Resident Evil 1 Remastered. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you waiting for Resident Evil 1 Remake, which is probably going to come out next year or so? Also, let me know which Tyrant you think would win in an oiled up twerk off. Do you think it's going to be Mr. X? Do you think it's going to be Nemesis? Name your Tyrant below. I hope you guys are having a great day wherever and whenever you are. And that's really all about it. Later.